Greetings, students and parents. Welcome to my How Do We Prepare to Get You into Running Start video. First of all, yay. This is, as much as I love spending time with my students every day, just learning the lessons and doing the review problems and getting through, this is the most exciting time for me because you're ready to move on. It's so wonderful that you have completed everything you can do with me and you're ready. I always know when a student is ready. You're ready to move on to a deeper part of the river, if you will. And I know that parents feel the very same way. It's exciting to see our students move ahead from one phase of learning to the next. And it's bittersweet, but it's wonderful. It's exciting to see our students thrive and survive. So parents, I am with you. I went through this 4 times myself. It's emotional, but it's scary, but it's exciting and it's fun. And Running Start is fantastic. I have nothing but wonderful things to say about it. So my job in this process is to prepare my students and their parents for what comes next, so you can successfully make this transition that we have worked so hard to prepare you on. Running Start is fabulous and it's exciting, and it saved us a ton of money, thousands of dollars, and prepared my daughters really, really well for the math that they studied at the university level. Plus all the other stuff too. Running Start is great for things besides math. So, and just to remind you guys, if you don't know, I have 4 daughters. I homeschooled all of them all the way through. They all went to Running Start. They all got their associate's degree at the same time they graduated from high school. And then they all went to four-year university after that. And Running Start just made it so smooth and so easy. And the transitions were just fantastic. They already knew how to go to college. All they had to do now was figure out how to live in the dorm. And that's huge. That contributed so much to their success. And if I had it all to do again, I wouldn't change a thing. So yay, I'm excited for you as you start your Running Start voyage, parents and students. Okay, the students that I'm talking to right now, just so you know, are my 3 students in advanced mathematics, Vivian, Laura, and Jayla, who have really reached the end of the curriculum that I like to teach. At this point, I could teach, Saxon has a calculus book. I could teach calculus as well, but I choose not to because I think at this point, it's really important for students to move on and get that from a professor in a college environment. I think that my style is really well suited for high school students, but there comes a time when you're ready to swim in the deeper waters, and that's what I prepare you for. That's what I want you to do. And I think that this place, after the Green Book and before the Calculus book, that is the right time to do it. Students who are studying in the Red Book, Algebra 2, who are Abby, Micah, and Kyle, you guys are also eligible to test. You're not just eligible, but you're well prepared to test into college level math as well. You have the option of working with me for 1 more year and studying the advanced mathematics course, which will actually overlap. The Red Book takes you right up to college. The Green Book overlaps you with college. So that can be a huge advantage so that when you do get to your college classes, you feel like, oh, I got this. This is all familiar to me. If you take the Red Book and go into college, you're going to say, okay, I can learn this, but you aren't going to have that comforting, warm and cozy feeling of going, I already know how to do this. Fabulous. And I'll show you more about that in just a second. So that is my group of 6 parents. I hope you're listening too, moms and dads, because this is a transition for the whole family, and I want everybody to feel comfortable and good about it. To take math classes at any college, including Edmonds College, you take what is called a placement test. That is different from an admissions test. An admissions test is when they're deciding whether or not they're going to open the door and let you in. A placement test says, come on in, you're welcome here. Let's decide now whether we should start you off in the living room or the family room, to just take a metaphor, because you know. You know how I roll. So that's what we're doing here. They're going to welcome you with open arms as long as you have any clue what's going on in math. And trust me, you're all way past that. But the test is called the AccuPlacer. And I love that name because placer is the important thing to remember. There is a study packet for the AccuPlacer. I don't think they put hard copies out in Linwood Hall anymore. They used to keep them handy. But this is what it looks like if you go online and find it and download it. It's a PDF. It's fine. Okay. I think Edmonds College has it within their website. You don't have to Google it outside. If you have any problems finding it, let me know and I'll help you track it down. It says College Board right here. It's run by those same College Board people that do SATs and other things. Inside, you will see that it is multiple choice questions, and it starts out with the English topics because there's an English test as well as a math test. So I highly recommend you get the full packet and study the English part as well. Again, this isn't difficult material. It's stuff you already know, but it's just a question of getting used to how the questions are formatted and what kinds of things this test is testing for. Every test is different. That's one of the annoying things. There is a section in here. Let me see if I can identify it. Maybe this is all. Edmonds College gets a lot of international students, so they also test on sort of like basic English understanding. I think that is not in this packet. Every once in a while it'll show up in the packet and students will go, what? I've been using this packet since 2005. The spring of 2005 was the first year that my oldest daughter was ready, and I prepped her and some of her friends using this packet, and I've used it every year since then. Oh, isn't that fun? Okay, so we get to the back and we get to the math questions. That's where we will spend a lot of time prepping. We'll go through them, and I'll tell you lots more about the way the AccuPlacer works when we get to that stage. For now, I just want you to know there is a test. You need this packet. We will review it. But before we review this, we're going to work on a more overall review, because here's the thing, whether you're in the red book or the green book this year, you have not done the very basics in a long time. And as you guys know, every human brain gets rusty at the old things when it's only done new things. Even though the work we've been doing is more complex, when we're asked to perform problems at a much simpler level, our brains go haywire for a minute. And so we need to spend time practicing those basic questions so when they hit us on this test, which is taken on a computer, by the way. There's a testing center at Edmonds, and you go in and you sit down at a computer and work your answers. I'm pretty sure they're still using the testing center even because of COVID. I think they're just restricting the number of people in it at any given time. But check on that to be sure. I do not know what's going on COVID-wise in this running start testing process. So that I need to rely on you parents to help me out with that. So before we're going to dive into the AccuPlacer and start reviewing that, we're going to review with a little something I like to call the Keys to Algebra. It's actually called the Key to Algebra workbooks. There are 10 of them. And what they do is start us out at the very beginning. You guys, you're going to feel like you're in third grade again. But we're going to start with some really straightforward review. This is multiplying, right? And it goes on into factoring and prime factoring and integers, positive and negative, multiplying and adding them. And at first, you guys, I promise you, you're going to think Diane Stryker has flipped her lid. If she thinks we need to review this baby math, she's out of her mind. We have wasted good money and good time on this crazy key curriculum that is way too basic to be good. I know. It's okay, trust me, because at the end, you're gonna get your score on that test and you're gonna, on the AccuPlacer, and you're gonna say, thank you. Thank you for pushing me through that ungodly exercise, because I feel, not only did I place well in this thing, this AccuPlacer test, but I feel really good about myself. I feel really prepared and educated and ready to go. If you don't believe me, ask other students of mine who have done this in the past. Ask any of the Bragg family. Ask Esther and Evie Jones. Ask my daughters. Ask, who else do you guys know that have done it? I don't know. Ask anybody that's been with me and transitioned directly into Running Start. Daniel Rixman did not do the keys to algebra. He just toughed it out and cold turkeyed it. And Jacob Barlow did not go to Running Start, so he didn't do it. There are a few exceptions to my rule. But talk to the Braggs. Talk to sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Talk to the Braggs. Talk to the Jones girls. Ask them what they thought of it. You'll be a believer. Trust me. You'll be a believer. Okay, so what I need you guys to do, here's the plan. We're going to come back after spring break. We're going to do one more week of John because that will get us up to and through level 100. 100 lessons is more than enough to justify a math credit in high school. So after we hit that 100 mark, that is absolutely solid ground for you guys to claim that credit if you're getting credits. I've had this conversation with Nancy Chang. He's a great friend of mine at Edmonds Heights many times, and she's like, 100 lessons? Are you kidding me? That's fantastic. That counts as a credit. So we will finish up one more week of John. Then we will transition to these books. I will work it all out so that we come out right on the dates, but we're going to be doing multiple of these books a week. You guys, it's going to be a lot. It is an intense process. Each book has more than 30 pages. I think they're all less than 40, but they have 30 some odd pages, and they are rich with problems. As you can see, there's just a ton of work. You don't have to necessarily see the problems, but you can just see, look at the pages. There's lots and lots and lots to do. And so it takes a lot of time. It's very time intensive. And it's going to probably take more time than you're currently spending on math. It's a review, so it will feel comfortable in your brain, but it is a lot. For that reason, and we're still working, P.S., to 100% correct. So for that reason, I call moms into the correcting process. In John, I say, moms, please don't. Let your students correct each problem as they go. In Key to Algebra work, I say, that is way too much. It's too much to stop and correct every answer as you go. So students, I'm going to change the rules. You're going to work these books, and you're not going to correct them. Okay, you're just going to go for it. Your mom will have the answers. The answers come in 3 booklets with, like this first book is lessons, or booklets rather, 1 through 4. Look how yellowed my copies are. It makes me feel like such an old timer. So there's multiple workbooks in each answer book. But moms, you're going to have the lovely opportunity to take this. Each one of these white squares is a page in your student's workbook. And then the answers are written in, and you use this to correct the booklets. So this is the way the process looks. Students grab the top book. They work through it. They curse my name and wonder, what in the world are you asking of us, you crazy teacher lady? Then when they're finished with the book, they hand it to mom or dad, and they say, please correct. Mom takes her book and shuffles through it, corrects, uses lots of Post-it notes to indicate where there are problems that the student needs to go back to, because we're working for 100% accurate. So mom indicates clearly not what the answer should be, but that there's a problem, right? Don't write the answer in here, because then they'll know. Students have to go back, follow all the tags, go find where all the wrong answers are and fix them. Moms, I recommend this system. Put a Post-it note on the page that's wrong, and then put like one of those little Post-it flyers. You can use those little flag things for everything. Put it, like if this problem is wrong, just put a little flag then right here, because there are so many problems on each page that it's really almost impossible to just follow notes made in pen or pencil. It helps to have those bright squares of color to key in on where the mistakes are. So you're going to use a lot of those Post-it flags, Mom, but here's the thing. Once they correct in this book, then you can rip these off and use them in another book. So you don't have to buy stock in 3M or invest $1 million in Post-it flags. Just get plenty to get started, and then you'll be reusing them. Students, you're going to have a lot of patience, because while Mom is correcting this book, you have to go on to the next book. right? There's no sitting and waiting. So then you're going to be in the middle of this book and mom's going to be, oh, here's your mistakes in this book. So then you're going to want to stop and correct those. Then you'll go back and do these. Then mom will correct it. It turns into a wild extravaganza of a bunch of books in process and problems all over the place that you're trying to fix, and you're trying to get those books done. When you finish, then you sign on the front, and that is a joyous moment. Signing on the front means I did it. It's 100% done and 100% completed. So I want a student signature, and then parents, when you agree, you sign right there. That's what I'm looking for. That is my comfort, that this isn't almost right. This is 100% perfect and done. Okay, so that is our process. I will be meeting with students for weekly FaceTime chats, probably multiple times a week, but we won't have a need for instructional videos. I won't have to post videos for you to watch every week. You can just dive in, because there's no new material in this. Some of it looks a little sideways, but there's no new material. So I don't need to teach you anything, but I do need to check in with you. And so I'm gonna check in at least twice a week. We'll see how it goes. So parents, you need to be armed and dangerous with the answer manuals, and you need to arm your students with this set of workbooks. They are widely available online. I checked last night. You can get the full package on Amazon for $100. Ouch, I know that sounds like a lot, but let me remind you that the coursework at Edmonds, if your student doesn't test into college level math and you want to take a high school level class at Edmonds to try to get them up to speed, that's going to cost, when my kids were there, it was roughly $600 plus a couple $100 for a text. So, and that's for one high school math class to try and catch up. Remember, college level classes are free, but high school level classes at Edmonds Math are very expensive. So if you're trying to bump your student up into that college level, investing $100 in the Keys to Algebra is a good investment to avoid any college level classes. It's cheaper than me too. So for most of you, because you're very generous in paying me. So number one action item for you is track down your Key to Algebra set, okay? 10 workbooks and 4 correcting books. And we'll start that not the first Monday that we come back after spring break, the second Monday. Now, what I'm gonna do with my spring break is I'm gonna work out a calendar so that we work through all of these books and get them done early in May. That will give you time to get in there as soon as testing opens, which is early in May. I try to make you done with both the Key to Algebra and the AccuPlacer Review by the first week in May. Spring break was a little late this week. That we're gonna have to hustle. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna push really hard through this. We're gonna get you into the testing center at Edmonds. We're gonna get you passing that Key to Algebra test. If you don't pass the first time, you can take it again right away, and then you can take it again every quarter thereafter to try to get into that college level math. Let me just show you what the goal looks like. This is the document from Edmonds College that shows the way all their math classes fit together. This is all their math classes. Don't worry about reading all this detail. I'm gonna make it simple for you. I've outlined in color, there's the blue book of John. That's the class, this is the class equivalent to it at Edmonds. This is the class equivalent to the orange book, which is Algebra 1. This is the class equivalent to the red book with John, which is Algebra 2. Now, this, up above my pen, those are all high school level classes at Edmonds College. You can take them, they will prepare you, but they cost money. Running Start does not pay for those, okay? But as you can see, if you've been following the Saxon track, you're coming along just fine, right? And again, below is where the college level starts. If you have studied the green book, you're already working at the college level. Okay, the green book matches content in these 2 classes. It doesn't cover it 100%, but the 1 year of green book of John Advanced Mathematics is equivalent to about half the content in these 2 classes, okay? So what that means is that if you have taken the green book with me, you're gonna get into these 2 classes And I'll talk about the other classes in just a minute. When you sit in those courses, you're going to say, oh wow, about half of this material is familiar to me and feels really easy. You're gonna say that not only for the first quarter, but the second quarter. 2 quarters of 50% I've already learned this math is gonna feel really comfortable. The pace is gonna be outrageous. My daughters took these 2 classes and had to do about 50 homework problems a night, not a week, a night as homework. It is rigorous and intense with regard to speed. But if you've already got pretty comfortable with the content, it's going to be manageable. You're going to get up to that cruising altitude a lot more smoothly. When they say this program gives you a running start, they're not kidding. It's a great name for the program. And Saxon prepares you for the running start. It's so good, you guys. It's so good. So this is the STEM track, okay? Anybody can take these classes. My daughters, 3 of the 4 were liberal arts type people, but I had them take the STEM classes so that if they changed their mind and said, wait, I want to be a veterinarian, they didn't have to go back and retake their math. Okay, the whole goal of math education is keep it flowing until you're done, because you don't want to stop, take a couple months off, and then start your math education again, God forbid a couple years, because it leaks out of our brains really fast. Keep going with your math till you're done. So I had them take these 2 classes, and then I said, okay, now you can stop. That was more than enough for them to graduate from college. They never had to take another math class again, but they were poised in really good position to switch to a STEM career if that's what they ever wanted. If you're 100% sure that you don't want STEM, you have other options to take a college level math credit. Most universities want at least 1 quantitative credit for any degree. One of my daughters was an art student, but she had to have a math class. So these qualify for a lot of those kinds of programs. If you have any idea where you want to go for your 4-year degree, or what you want to study, do some research and find out if one of these is going to be good enough. If you're lazy, okay, that's not fair. If you don't want to put in the legwork, P.S., I'm lazy, I wouldn't want to do that. Just take this one, because this one is going to be sure to work, okay? So this is my tried and true, my favorite recommendation. All right, so now you see what I mean. The Red Book it prepares you to start this class, but it doesn't overlap with this class or any of these really at all. That's the advantage of taking the Green Book with me, is now you've got a really significant overlap with the material, and you're going to go into college already knowing a good part of what you're doing. Okay, the AccuPlacer test has what's called an elementary arithmetic. No, it's arithmetic, elementary algebra, and then college level math. Okay, there are 3 sections to it. That's because students tend to land in one of those 3 categories, right? Obviously, we're trying to get you to score into the college level math level, because we want you to take college classes because they're free and because it's cool and because you're ready. So that means that when we're studying in the AccuPlacer, we're going to find 3 different sections: arithmetic, elementary algebra, and college level math. Those 3 sections we'll talk a lot about when we're studying, because it's very important you understand that you don't start with the college level math classes. You start with the easier ones, and then the computer has an algorithm. Once you get a certain number of these correct, you then can start to get harder questions and then show that you have got knowledge over here, okay? So that's why it's so important that we review the basic stuff, because you have to get the basic questions right before the test algorithm will give you the harder questions, okay? That's why it's such a big deal that we start and review the basics. It will even happen that if you're reviewing, you're testing, and you start kind of in this middle thing, if you get a couple wrong, it might kick you back into the arithmetic sections. That's okay. All you have to do is prove yourself in those, and you'll earn your way back up through the test on the algorithm, and you can come right back. So you have to be prepared for the possibility that you might be lobbed some really easy questions too. So that is why the review is so important, because we're not going to get questions like we're used to seeing. We're going to get questions that are a lot easier, and every student goes, wait, I know this, but what? Okay, so that is a little bit of a prep for this. Of course, I'm open to questions. Your action items, specifically for me, are to get these Key to Algebra books. I need you to have them by the middle of April at the absolute latest. I have an Amazon Prime account. If anybody wants me to order for them, I'm happy to do that. Just let me know. The other thing that you need to do if you haven't started all, well, you need to talk in your family and decide, is this for me? Do I want to do this next year? Jayla, Laura, and Vivian, yes. Please go to Running Start next year. You are so ready, 100%. Abby, Kyle, and Micah, I have great confidence in you. I have no question that you can succeed at Running Start next year. 100%. If you're highly motivated, go for it. Parents, by the way, I think that's the #1 requirement of succeeding in Running Start is that your students are motivated to go. I've seen some kids with some really shabby academic preparation go to Running Start and thrive because that's where they wanted to be. If that's where you guys want to be, you'll be fine. However, if you have any interest in making even the math part easier on yourself, we could study that green book next year and prepare you for it at a little bit more leisurely pace. You can still go to Running Start for all your other classes and do math with me your junior year, and then your senior year you can transition over. That's what Vivian and Jayla both opted to do, right? They opted to do green book with me as juniors, and now they're ready and they'll jump into their senior year as full-time Running Start students, and they'll take their math, they'll get their math credit out of the way, their college math credit out of the way as seniors in high school. That's still way ahead of the game, way ahead of the game. So that is another option I lay in front of Abby, Kyle, and Micah. Talk to these older girls. Well, they might not be older than you, but talk to Laura, Vivian, and Jayla and ask them what made them decide to do the green book with me instead of going into Running Start. You guys have options. Okay, so get your Key to Algebra books. If you've decided if you want to do that. If you don't want to do this, you guys, if Kyle, Abby, or Micah decide you just don't want to do this next year, you're going to wait another year, that's fine. We'll just ride with the red book for the rest of the year. And we can have a separation. All three of you don't have to choose to do the same thing. I hope that makes sense. If you decide, yes, Running Start for me next year, I'm on board, let's go. For any classes, talk to a traditional high school counselor. You need to connect with a public high school in order to access the Running Start program. You can do Edmonds Heights, you can do Woodway, you can do Meadowdale. I've done it both ways. One of my daughters, she did 1 year through Edmonds Heights, and then she did the other year through Kamiak. It was fine. It was fine. So you can do it anyway, but get going on the process of understanding how Running Start works if you want to take any classes at Running Start next year. You can still opt to do math with me and take your other classes at Running Start, which is what Jayla did this year. And I've had plenty of students do that in the past, okay? So you, in terms of your math, you have options if you're Kyle, Abby, and Micah. Vivian, Laura, and Jayla, no, I'm throwing you up. Go to college. You're ready. It's going to be so fun, and you're going to feel so excited for yourself. Okay, that's my spiel. Reach out to me with questions. Let me know if there's anything new happening COVID-wise that I don't know about, because my information here is all based on pre-COVID. So I don't know how it's changed, but let me know if there's anything important that's different, and I'll make sure everybody knows. Okay, I will be reaching out to students the first week that we're back after spring break and saying, hey, what have you decided about Running Start? So please take this lovely week off to figure out your answer to my question. All right, thank you for this lovely half hour of time together. Goodbye.